Det är många som försökte förstå hur det kunde bli som det blev i det beryktade Abu Ghraib-fängelset utanför Bagdad. Alltså hur amerikanerna kunde gå så långt i sina metoder som de gjorde. Den brittiske författaren Jon Ronsons sätt att komma till tals med det hela var att skriva en bok som heter The Men Who Stare at Goats, männen som stirrar på getter. Det är amerikansk militärhistoria. För det mesta så är den helt absurt, men vad jag förstår fullkomligt sann.
The story began really right here in this private members club in Soho, London, called the Soho House. I met Uri Geller here. I had lunch with him. Is Uri Geller well known in Sweden?
Kind of, but you can tell us who he is.
Okay, Uri Geller became very famous in the early 1970s because he went on American television, bent a spoon. You know, he would get a spoon and go like that, and the spoon would do that. But without, you know. And he became a huge celebrity, Uri Geller. And then he started making all these wild claims, like he knew where the lost Ark of the Covenant was buried. Somewhere in Damascus, I think. Anyway, then he sort of drifted out of public favour and people started to ridicule him. But he would say all the time, I worked for the CIA in the 1970s. The CIA had me as a psychic spy. Nobody believed him. But when I decided I wanted to write a book about the kind of nuttiness at the heart of power, I invited Uri for lunch, had lunch right here. And I said, so tell me about your psychic spying days. Uri was wearing dark glasses. He said, I don't talk about it. And I said, Uri, you're always talking about it. Because I never talk about it. This was 2 weeks after September the 11th. I said, Uri, what's wrong? And suddenly he took off his dark glasses and he said, if you repeat what I'm about to tell you, I will deny it. And I said, okay. He said, I have been reactivated. I said, by who? He goes, I'm telling you nothing else. And he never did tell me anything else. But I thought, well, if Uri Geller had been reactivated to help fight the war on terror after September the 11th, if that was true, if there was even a grain of truth in it, then this is part of a bigger story. And it was that bigger story that I went out to find after having lunch right here with Uri.
I slutet av 70-talet är den amerikanska militären i djup kris. De fruktansvärda minnena från Vietnamkriget har fått armén att omvärdera saker i grunden. Man vill hitta ett nytt sätt att föra krig och återigen bli världens starkaste armé. Och man är beredd att leta på de mest egendomliga platser.
Well, the American army had a terrible time in Vietnam. And my theory is that it wasn't just individual soldiers who were suffering from post-combat depression. The entire military as an entity was traumatized and depressed and miserable. And in the middle of this funk, you had a lieutenant colonel called Jim Channon who decided he had the answer. And the answer was that he would journey to California on a 2-year odyssey on behalf of the Pentagon and learn how the American soldier could be a better person. And the Pentagon agreed, so they sent Jim to California.
Det Shannon stöter på i 70-talets Kalifornien är den blomstrande New Age-rörelsen. I 2 år åker han runt och badar naken i örtbad och deltar i konstiga sexlekar, allt betalt av Pentagon. Segervisst återvänder han. I ett handskrivet dokument har han med sig svaret på Amerikas militära framtid.
The result was this paper, this manual called the First Earth Battalion Manual, and it was drawings and graphs, and it was a redesign of every single aspect of the US military. And soldiers would learn how to sense plant auras. So when they'd see a flower, they'd be able to see its aura. They'd be able to become invisible, walk through walls, so they could actually learn somehow how to walk through a wall. And that was the First Earth Battalion. And the Pentagon loved it. They you know, when Jim gave his speech to the Army's leaders at Fort Knox in 1979, they were almost in tears. You had these four-star generals almost in tears because they were so moved by these ideas. And they immediately said to Jim, OK, here's the money, create a real-life First Earth Battalion.
I am what my country expects me to be, the best trained soldier in the world, in the race for victory.
Immediately, throughout the army, soldiers started trying to implement Jim's ideas. Major General Albert Stubblebine III, who was the head of Army Intelligence, had 16,000 soldiers under his command in charge of prisoner of war interrogation, immediately began trying to walk through his wall. At Army Intelligence headquarters in Arlington, Virginia, he'd stand up from behind his desk, you know, get a bit of a jog going, and bang his nose.
First Earth Battalion ägnade sig inte bara åt att försöka gå igenom väggar. Amerikanska armén hade länge ägnat sig åt djurförsök, bland annat på getter. Och man ville undersöka om det gick att använda Jim Shannons idéer även här.
Another interpretation of the First Earth Battalion in the 80s was the goat staring. They had a crack team of Special Forces soldiers who would try and kill goats just by staring at them.
So there were people being paid by Pentagon just sitting staring at goats?
Yeah. They brought in this fellow from Ohio called Guy Savelli, who's a martial arts expert from Ohio. And I met Guy recently. He said what they did was they got 30 goats, put numbers on each of the goats, and Guy was staring at number 16, and goat number 17 fell over, which I guess is collateral damage.
But when you met all those people, did you get a feeling that they were
nuts?
Yeah.
I think that they were kind of fundamentalist. You know, like a lot of people, they believe, you know, too much in their powers.
Jon Ronsons bok The Men Who Stare at Goats kom ut strax innan jul i England och kommer snart släppas i USA. Boken är även på väg att filmatiseras, för det är en liten skräll han ställt till med. Delar av det han skriver om, till exempel att CIA har haft en avdelning med agenter som försökt spionera på ett telepatiskt plan, har varit känt sedan tidigare, men det mesta är nytt. Från officiellt amerikanskt håll har man varken förnekat eller bekräftat historien.
How do you know that these people are not just joking with you and telling you lies?
Well, because people who didn't know each other, people high up in the military who didn't know each other, would tell us the same story. You know, we like to think of our leaders as being rational people, sort of secular people. But actually, when you go back in history, you know, you find that, you know, they're all kind of nuts, you know, and
But I mean, should we be afraid? I mean, if the world is ruled by
crazy people. Well, we're all crazy people. I mean, I think it's... Personally, I think it's strangely comforting. Because on one level, this whole story is like a... You know, it's like the world's craziest conspiracy theory. You know, that these people would harness the power of the occult to try and control us. And that's kind of true. But it's true in a way that manifests itself in generals bumping their noses and goats not falling over, you know? So it's kind of true in this very sweet, human, buffoonish way.